This show is for women who train harder, think bigger, and live bolder. Here, we don't level up. We set the standard. Strength, strategy, success. I'm Katie Fleece. Welcome to The Smoke Show. What's up, Smoke Shows? Listen, if you're over the age of 35 and you're still doing random workouts, skipping meals when you're busy, and wondering why you feel worse than ever, consider this episode your intervention. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Look, today I'm pulling back the curtain on what I've seen over 2 decades working with women who just feel completely stuck when it comes to their bodies. And most of the time, it's not actually about laziness. It's not because they're lazy. It's not because they lack willpower. It's not because, they're doing anything wrong as a human. It's just because they've been lied to by an industry that profits off of confusion. An industry that keeps you buying the next program, the next supplement, the next quick fix, instead of actually teaching you what works. But not just what works, but what works for your body, your life, your schedule. So today I'm going to open up about some of the outdated advice that's keeping you stuck and what your body is actually really trying to tell you, and also how to stop treating fitness like punishment and start treating it like power. Because listen, I've been in this industry long enough to see some absolutely ridiculous trends. I remember when I was a kid, that is, we had some really ridiculous ones back then. There was this ab shocker thing that you wore around your waist, and it was supposed to stimulate like 1,000 sit-ups, right? And they advertised it like, oh, you just wear this around the house while you're watching TV. You don't even need to work out. Jenny Craig was a big one back then. The aerobics craze, which, yes, that's actually where I started. I started teaching aerobics, which is funny. Hydroxycut was a big thing. I don't even think that's legal anymore. I think they finally took that off the shelves. I don't know. I could be wrong. But waist trainers. Waist trainers are still a thing. In fact, it never fails. Every gym I go into, I still see women wearing these things. And every time I do, I just cringe a little bit. Because it's like, man, we're looking for shortcuts, right? But the problem is a lot of you are still operating from that same shortcut mindset. You're still looking for the hack, the trick, the thing that's going to bypass the actual work of understanding your body. So let's dive in. Here's something that's gonna challenge everything you think you know about weight loss. You can eat perfectly and still gain weight if your nervous system is dysregulated. I've watched so many women track every single calorie, know exactly how many macros are in, a handful of almonds or 3 M&Ms or whatever, religiously log their food and then just completely ignore the fact that their nervous system is a complete wreck, right? It's completely fried. They're, running on 3 hours of sleep. They're checking their email and answering messages at 10 p.m. They're stressed beyond belief. They're worried about their kids. They're managing, big teams of people who can't function without them. And then they're confused about why they're gaining weight around their midsection despite eating clean. Okay? And here's what 2 decades in this industry has taught me that a lot of people just won't tell you, all right? Your body does not operate like a math equation, okay? When your cortisol is chronically elevated, It's like you're living in a constant state of stress. Your body enters into a state of like protection mode, right? So your body in those times, it's just simply trying to survive. Okay, so it thinks it's doing its job because it thinks that there's a threat. So when your body perceives that threat, it doesn't care that you ate clean. It doesn't care that you ate 1,200 calories, all right? Because it's going to hold on to fat. Unfortunately, especially around your middle, okay? Because that is where it can most easily access that energy that it needs, okay? So weight gain isn't always about eating. Is that part of it? Yes, of course, okay? But sometimes it's about what your body is trying to survive. This is why I've seen so many women eat clean for months, but yet they still feel really puffy. They feel frustrated. They can't figure out why they're holding on to body fat. They're missing a big piece of the puzzle, okay? And their stress response is basically like rejecting their metabolism. Your body responds to everything, right? Your sleep quality, your stress levels, your hormone fluctuations, your thoughts, your environment, okay? So if you're only focusing on the food part, like, oh, okay, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories. I don't know why, by the way, that's like such a magic number. But if you're only focusing on that part while ignoring everything else, it's literally like trying to solve a puzzle with only half the pieces. Okay. So before you cut your calories even lower, before you add in another workout or decide like you need to add in more cardio, this is a good one, before you eliminate another food group, ask yourself, like, what signal am I giving my nervous system right now? Am I telling my body that it's safe to let go of weight or excess body fat? Or am I telling it to hold on to everything because, oh my gosh, it's like fight or flight, right? We might not survive. That's how your body works. I also want to share something that I've observed in every gym I think I've ever worked out in. Hey, it's Katie Fleece, head of the female division of Superhuman and your host here on Smoke Show. Listen, if you've been waiting for a sign to go after your strongest, fittest, hottest body, this is it. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need anyone else's permission. It's time to claim the body and the life you deserve. Go to smokeshowbody.com and take the first step toward building the ultimate version of you. Now back to the show. The people who show up consistently but never, have you ever noticed like they're there, but their bodies never change? Well, let me tell you, they all have one thing in common, okay? They have no systematic approach, right, to progression. So they show up, but they do whatever they want. They do whatever they feel like doing that day. Maybe it's some cardio, maybe it's rounds of cardio, maybe they start out on the elliptical, then move to the treadmill, then move to the recumbent bike, maybe it's some weight machines if the gym's not busy, maybe they try that new class. They're basically like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks, okay? But here's what most people don't understand about how the human body adapts. Your body will accommodate to any stress you place on it within approximately about 6 weeks, okay? So if you're doing the same random collection of exercises week after week after week, your body has it figured out, okay? It's no longer being challenged. It's no longer going to change. This is what you may have heard this saying, but it's called the accommodation principle. Okay. And it's exactly why I see women working incredibly hard with zero results. Okay. There is a woman at my gym, bless her heart. She is there every morning and she's got to be there. I'm not kidding when I say for at least 3 hours. She's there before I get there and she's there after I leave. And sometimes I screw around and I do like 3 rounds of the massage beds. Okay. So I'm there for a while sometimes if I have the extra time. But she's there a lot, probably 7 days a week. Okay. And every day I see her she jumps from the treadmill, she runs on the treadmill, she walks on the treadmill, she does the stair climber, she does the elliptical, and then she strength trains. And then usually when she's done strength training, she'll get back on the treadmill. And I'm not kidding when I say in the 3 years that I have been going to this gym, her body hasn't changed at all. In fact, she looks the same, maybe even worse. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I can look at somebody and be like, oh my gosh, honey, your cortisol is spiked. Like your body is literally holding on to body fat because it doesn't feel safe in it anymore. It's holding on to everything, right? Her body is chronically overtrained. Okay. Now, what she's missing, and I would say what most women are missing, is periodization. All right. You need planned phases that systematically challenge your body in different ways over time. So you need to know when you're doing any sort of plan, like, am I in a strength building phase? Am I in an endurance phase? Am I in a recovery phase? What am I building toward? What's the point of today's workout in context of what your goal is? Okay? Because without progressive overload, without like systematically increasing that challenge, your body, it has no reason to change, right? Because you're essentially asking it to do the same thing over and over and over while expecting a different result. So your body responds to intelligent progression, not random acts, not random classes or, random cardio sessions or whatever. Your body's smart, okay? Random workouts are always going to get you the same thing. Random results, okay? Now, moving on. When I used to own a gym, I saw this all the time. I would see women in there day after day. Most of the time it was around holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, things like that. And they would show up and do multiple classes in a row. I'm talking 3-4 classes in a row because of how they ate the day before. So essentially, they were punishing their body for experiencing pleasure. Okay? When you do that, you're teaching yourself, you're getting yourself into the mindset of food is the enemy, exercise is the punishment. That's not health. That's not health at all. That's actually a disordered relationship with your body because it's basically you working out from a place of self-hatred, okay? And when you do that, guess what? Going back to that nervous system, your nervous system responds. Your body knows when you are exercising as punishment versus when you're exercising as empowerment. The women who get the most sustainable results, they're not the ones who hate their bodies, okay? They're the ones who are the most committed to loving their bodies. They work out because they're excited about what they're building, not about what they're trying to fix or what they think is broken. They're working out from a place of self-love, not from a place of self-hate or punishment, okay? They approach fitness as a practice of becoming powerful, not a punishment for existing in their body or enjoying a meal. And this energy shift, it changes everything. How you show up, how your body responds, how sustainable the whole process becomes, because you cannot hate yourself into a body you love. You cannot punish yourself into feeling powerful. Here's something that makes me want to shake the living shit out of people, all right? Look, you are taking advice from 20-year-old influencers who have never dealt with real female physiology, okay? They've never managed menopause or perimenopause. They've never tried to build muscle while their estrogen is declining. They've never dealt with cortisol dysregulation, okay, from running a business or, raising a family, okay? They've never navigated thyroid issues or tried to work out with chronic stress. What works for them is a completely different chapter than what you're living. And that's okay. It's just simply not your reality. And so it definitely should not be your strategy. Your body has different needs. Your life has different demands. Your recovery might take a little longer now that you're a little older. That's okay. Your stress levels are probably higher. Your time is probably a lot more limited. Your hormones are definitely fluctuating in a way that requires a completely different approach. So the strategy that works for, the 22-year-old is not the strategy that works for a 40-something-year-old executive with 3 kids and a mortgage, all right? You need advice from people who understand what it's like to build a body while also managing a really busy life, okay? You need someone who knows how to work with female hormones, okay? Not against them. Someone who understands that your workouts need to fit into your schedule. You don't have 2-3 hours a day to get your workout in. That's okay. I don't know many people that do. So stop following people or taking advice from people who have no idea what your life actually looks like. Okay? By the way, there's nothing wrong with those people. There's nothing wrong with the 22-year-old influencer. We were all 20 years old at one point too. That's amazing. More power to them. But that doesn't mean that, they need to be giving people advice that they don't understand necessarily, okay? The people that need to be taking their advice are the people that are also living a very similar lifestyle as they are, okay? And odds are that's probably not you, and that's okay. All right, so before we end this episode, here's what I want you to think about. Which of these patterns are you still stuck in? And what is it actually costing you? Are you still trying to out-exercise your stress? Are you still showing up to workouts without a plan? Are you exercising from punishment? And are you following advice from people who have no idea what your life looks like? Because here's the thing. Every day you spend doing the wrong thing is a day you're not getting closer to feeling the way you want to feel in your own body, okay? Your body typically is not the problem. Your approach is, okay? And the approach requires understanding that your body is not a machine, right? It's actually very intelligent. It's a system that needs to be worked with, not worked against. It requires recognizing that sustainable results from systematic progression, not from random intensity. That's what it's going to respond to, okay? It requires shifting from punishment to empowerment. And it requires following expertise that's actually relevant to your life and also your circumstances. So this isn't about easy wins or quick fixes, okay? This is about understanding the deeper principles that actually create lasting change, not something that you just do for 6 weeks. Because I don't know about y'all, but most of the people I meet, they want to keep their results long term. Okay, so if you're done following the trends that just leave you confused, exhausted, and further from your goals, let me know. I want to hear from you, all right? Just shoot me a DM. I hang out mostly on Instagram. I check my DMs all the time over there. I'll show you how our clients get real results without the burnout or the guesswork, Okay? There is hope, my friend. There is hope. I can assure you that. And I can also assure you that you're not too old and you're definitely not too far gone. All right. Thank you for listening. And I will see you next time on The Smoke Show. Stay strong, stay strategic, stay unapologetic. This is Smoke Show.